Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching this. My name is Rachel Feldman. You guys know I'm passionate. You know that I've been in your shoes. I've built a business. I say but backwards, which means that there isn't always this perfect blueprint for exactly how to create your offers. One thing I do know that I did extremely well is that I built my list. And this is one of the topics that I see so many of us struggle with. So for the next 15 minutes, stay with me during this training. We're going to go over the basics of the power of list building. And I'm going to show you different coaches that have used content that we have to optimize on the digital marketing platform. So let me share my screen. Again, please stay with me during this. I promise you, we are going to get so that when you are launching your website, or you're wanting to get people to your one-on-one, or you're launching a membership in September or January or April, which are the most common months for launching a membership, whatever you are doing with your offers, we need to make sure that you are, number one, consistently showing up and teaching. Two, making sure that you're hitting different platforms, because especially in the infancy of our business, we do not know where our people are. And most importantly, making sure that you are also on different platforms that are in a direct relationship with Google, which is going to build your SEO, search engine optimization. And that, of course, would be YouTube and Pinterest. Doesn't mean that you should put all your efforts into one area. The great thing and the masters of list building and awareness and getting in leads and truly building a sustainable and a profitable business do this really well. And they do this in mastery, going from frazzled to on fire. So let's just go over the basics in this next 15 minutes and get down and dirty. Number one, if you don't have a freebie, take a deep breath, go to rachelafeldman.com/free tools. Grab a freebie. We have and we give tons of content for free. We know how hard it is to start in the business, but now we're going to go into this time with imperfect action and no excuses. So where do we promote opt-in freebies? You can have it on your website. You will typically see when you land on a website that you either have it in the top right section where there is a, add your name, grab your email. That is so when people come to your website, they, of course, can get an inside look right away of what it would be like to work with you. Your freebies in all different kinds of formats are the gateway entrance for your ideal client, your potential client, your perfect avatar, your vision, your big vision of this client that you've so desperately wanted to help. They're like, wow, that was a really cool freebie. I wonder what it would be like to work with this person. You can also put them on your blogs. I love doing this because it allows you to have different hyperlinks in a blog, where one blog could be about, healthy aging and collagen and, superfoods, but maybe you have like a checklist as one little freebie and another freebie at the bottom that maybe even is a training series or a challenge or, leading to your group. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. So growing your list, and we hear this we all heard this in school, doesn't matter where you have gone to school, FDN, precision nutrition. I'm from IN, maybe you went to a life coaching school, you're in ACE doing fitness. So many different coaches that we work with, so many different doctors, nurses, functional medicine practitioners. We all have to list build. Whether you're working in your one-on-one practice, online or offline, whether you're bringing people to groups, do it yourselves, VIP days, memberships, retreats, high-end, low-end offers. It does not matter. You have to be consistently showing up for your list, because this is where people are going to come in that awareness funnel. That is what list building is about. And they're going to get a taste, and they're going to get wowed and say, wow, it's really amazing to get this freebie. This is so unbelievable. This is exactly what I've been looking for, because they are intentionally searching on Google for this answer. And that's where you guys come in. So the reason that I always say that we help you create less and connect more is that so many coaches make the mistake of spending, just like we all had to, or we do. We spend so much time creating that PowerPoint presentation. We spend so much time creating the challenge, so much time creating the freebies, that by the time we get to doing the pre-marketing of it, the telling of the story, the building, the why around that list builder, we're exhausted. And so the truth is, the majority of coaches are like myself, where you started out with no virtual assistant. You didn't have the money for ads. You are doing it all by yourself, which means that you've really got to master this part so that you can do this in an hour a day and strategically spend your energy in the places that are going to always make you money. And it's not about always making money, but the truth is, if we want to leave a 9-to-5, or maybe we're up against the wall, like I was 10 years ago, where I had to make this work, we have to master these areas so that we can really spend more time on that like, know, and trust factor, which means that we are showing up. We're telling people, why should you download this, 5-day gut challenge? Why, what are they going to learn in it? What is the promise of it? What problems does it solve? Why did you launch this? Why do you feel that it's really important? Why, with all the information out there, are you going to present that 5-day challenge, 5-day gut challenge in a different way, in a more digestible way, and diffuse all the misinformation? We often don't have the energy for that, let alone mastering our discovery call process, mastering our pitches, where we are taking those workshops, those challenges, those freebies, and getting on podcasts, getting visibility. So we are asked to be on summits, pitching to people that we already know, that they already know, like, and trust us. Well, the truth is, when you have kids and autoimmune, you're working a 9-to-5, there's very little time to then master all of this and not feel overwhelmed. So truth is, let's just go old school and make it simple. We want to understand the power of list building. So we're going to look at core examples. This is an area you do have full control over. What we don't have control is the algorithms. We don't have control over, the dips when people don't like to be on Facebook for whatever reason. It's not uncommon in any political year. It's not uncommon in any strife in the economy, or even very sensitive topics where Facebook, you see engagement go lower. Doesn't mean that you should go all in just on Instagram. It means that when there's a nice balance of making sure that you are building on YouTube, it's never going to go anywhere, and it also is building on SEO, search engine, Google, intentional Googling, and Pinterest, doesn't mean you're going all in on any of these. One blog you're going to share to Pinterest, because you're going to have an image there. One video can be on a blog. You have a blog with a video, the content, and a few images. Let go of perfection, and all of a sudden you have 6 pins, all leading back to the same place. So remember, your freebies are the gateway into working with you. Whether you have a 3-tier work with me, whether you are doing high ticket on the front end of your website, but you are leading them to some lower cost options like Christine Hansen, FDN graduate, came to me with a myriad of different, concerns and what was she going to do with her offers. And we helped her to have the content so she could do what she's great at. She then, fast forward, is doing high ticket 25K months. And she's like, you know what? I have a lot of people who can't afford me. So she bought the Candida program. She sold that as a low cost offer and still, of course, is having a beautiful balance. That's what Done For You content allows you to do. It spends more time doing what you're good at, just like my team that I hire. I always say, guys, I know what I'm good at. I'm not good at all the techie stuff. I'm good at showing up and sharing for my ideal client. When I was a health coach in business, what I wish I would have known, and pulling away what I feel is, can be a little BS, is not really what happens behind the desk of a real health coach when we're building our business without a team, or when we're overwhelmed, or when we're new. Same thing as in the world of health. No, I don't think it just takes 6 months to fix your gut. I don't think it just takes one round of parasitic supplements, anti-parasitic supplements, to rid your body of parasites. That's why I follow people like Huda Clark and Dietrich Klinghardt. And this is what made me such a powerhouse coach, is that I did so much list building where I used content that I created constantly around the pain of my ideal client, which was me. And also I had these other ideal clients, which were just really busy corporate people like myself back in the day, where stress got the best, ripped out my energy. I had a myriad of health problems because it was this good stress in my life, but that stress of wanting to build a unbelievable commercial real estate, business and hit 6 figures got the best of me. Same thing as it gets the best of everyone in life. I can go into a bunch of other different types and how I built my business, but that's the part of a series that we're going to do where it's really bringing you behind the desk of what happens with coaches versus me telling you marketing stuff. So we're going to just go through this because, like I said, 15 minutes. Where on your website? This is Jess Royston. I worked with her one-on-one personally. Not only is she an amazing gut coach and works a lot with moms, really young moms, busy moms, moms with young kids who can often feel extremely overwhelmed by making a lot of changes. They might be inspired by us. They might want to do all the things like Jess, who's completely toxin-free in her home, in her life, always drinking out of, glass, no plastic. But she realized that's not always realistic for one of her ideal mommies. But her mom is still coming to her for all these gut and immune and clean eating and weight loss and a myriad of other issues. But we said, well, Jess, you're going to be known as that gut girl. And we started to really build her entire wellness funnel, her business, from her 3 freebies, her 3 signature freebies, her 3 signature workshops, her 3 offers on her Work With Me page, her downsells if somebody isn't ready to work with her, or they don't have enough trust yet in her to sign up for a higher ticket offer. And so they maybe need that lower cost offer. Maybe one-on-one isn't right for them yet, and they want to have a do-it-yourself because they're just that self-paced kind of person. So as we build out that, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not, guys. I'm going to be doing a video, so stay tuned, stay on my list, because I'm going to do a video on how to build your Work With Me page in 15 minutes. Today, I'm even going to build an entire funnel with somebody in 20 minutes. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes knowing the core fundamental basics, compartmentalizing each of these really, really huge topics, and taking a deep breath. So you want to have that that freebie on the front of your site that's like, it's a showstopper. You will see Jess. I've done presentations and I've done case studies on her before. She had the 5-day gut challenge. That converts great. And she leads people into our 8-week gut restore. Right now, she's using 7 ways to detoxify for healthy weight loss. We had a one-on-one call, I want to say last month, about her membership, and we had to update her ideal client avatar and what their biggest pain points are right now, which is something that a lot of coaches don't talk about, because you have to really be coaching in the coaching industry to see that sometimes our people change because the environment changes and we have different stressors. And that's why I always encourage you to kind of update your ideal client and their pain points and their struggles, especially if you're not seeing conversions. We decided to swap this out because we thought, well, it's summer. What are your people really dealing with? And what's this big pain point for everyone in a lot of different, niches, always related, of course, to the core, your core niche and your teaching principles, your pillars of your business that make you different. But you want to really think about the ideal client right now. Everyone is talking weight because they're really struggling. So Jess, one of her teaching pillars is toxins and detoxifying the body. So she really made that brand message relate to her ideal client without, of course, losing the integrity of her brand message, what she stands for, and who she is. You will see even on a blog. This is, a blog, and you will see that PS. I said, sign up for the webinar here, get a 25%, VIP. You can even do this on your blog. Take one of our done for you blogs. Put, like I said, your opt-in freebie form. It doesn't even need to be on a landing page, guys. It's a form. Keep it simple. Keep it simple for yourself. I know that when I was building my business and I had 1 hour to 2 hours in the morning while my kids were little, and they weren't in school, or maybe one was in school, I had to make sure that I kept it super simple. I would copy and paste a blog, or I would pull from one of the programs that I had written for myself, which that's for another day on how long that took. And that's why we create those. So you can create less and connect more with people. I would copy, paste, put. I would take a video. And then I knew that if I had one freebie and a form, I could duplicate it because I couldn't figure out automation. And many of you tell me in strategy calls, in, the tearful DMs and PMs and the phone calls and everything, how you're struggling and how you're really struggling in the technology part, not the coaching. So I highly encourage you, if you're doing that, if you find yourself struggling, go to Fiverr, go to Upwork, find a virtual assistant and get really specific and give them a specific task. Like, I need these 3 freebies in a form with one follow-up email. Keep it super simple so that you can really test to see what your ideal client wants. We don't want you to give what I call the shopping center away for free. I don't want you to give everything away. It's not the point. I would say that most coaches in the building phase, nobody knows us. Why is somebody going to go and invest in a 2K program right off if they don't know us? And so in the beginning stages, I always say, sometimes you got to give a little more than, your typical business coach or even the content planner, the digital marketing person that you hire. Because the truth is, in the health and wellness industry, I'm not selling you like the camera. I'm not selling you for $19.99, you can have this camera. We're selling a transformation. We're selling an experience. We talk about what's included in that freebie. What are you going to get? What are you going to get in this teaching series? What can you expect in this webinar? The challenge. These are all list building, but we have to get really specific in showing that transformation, the problem, the mini story, the why, and then the actual little step solution, so that that person says, wow, we've got to win, because they feel it's doable. It's caught their attention because it's the hot hook for them. They're like, wow, I was really struggling with, all this like autoimmune stuff. And oh my God, I have this foggy brain and I feel so tired and my hormones are a hot mess. But damn, I can't button my pants and I feel insecure. And, my weight and my skin's really affecting me. Doesn't mean you rebrand and change your niche to be weight. It means you're talking about the hot topic that your ideal client is really struggling with, subconsciously, consciously shaming themselves. And each one of you, of course, have different clients, different ideal clients based on your own story. So I tell you that because a lot of us don't do enough of the showing up. And that doesn't mean that we just have a perfect IG puzzle. It means that we show up enough and we test with these freebies. We test with showing up and doing intentional lives on topics. A perfect example that I always say is you take one PowerPoint, like we'll just give an example for Dana Denali. Take one PowerPoint that is on hormone imbalance, perimenopause, estrogen dominance, weight, and you relate it to your ideal client. You relate it to your niche, and you show in that week, guys, stick with me for these, next 3 lives. You'll get them, sent to you on this replay page or meet me in this group. You don't even have to get them to opt in to anything if you didn't want. You just want to wow them, make sure that they stay with you, make sure that they know what to expect. You're like, on Monday, we're going to kick it off on like why your hormones are really bad right now, how stress affects it. Then Wednesday, we're going to talk about hormone health and skin and anti-aging. Then the third, we're going to talk about hormone health and perimenopause. You can break up your freebies, break up your PowerPoint so that you're not sitting there in front of the camera saying, what the hell do I talk about? Instead, you're sitting there and you're mapping out like week 1, week 2, week 3. Each week, what am I going to focus on? What am I going to use as content so I don't have to sit there and stare at a blank screen? And that leads us to exactly Dana. Dana, you will see, has a really amazing Instagram. She has found that her ideal client hangs out more on Instagram. She lives in Egypt. She struggled. She bought a detox from us in 2013. She's just like one of our other success stories, Megan Rand from Zesty Ginger. Who says, I don't think I'm ever going to get clients. Everyone else has clients. No, guys, every coach is just like you. You just only hear the win stories. You don't hear the behind the scenes of what it takes. Dana was just like all of us. She focused on gut. She focused on skin. She focused on anti-aging and beauty. And she was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I really feel that all these are packed into hormones. But my ideal client, because that was her aha moment in her journey. It was detox. It was gut. It was skin and beauty. And then she realized in these last few years that hormone was this big connector. But her ideal client wants to come to her for anti-aging, for beauty and weight loss. That's their hook. That's a big different thing from what we're all taught kind of as coaches. It's like, nail your niche, make your offers. And we can do that. That's the easier part. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but the truth is it is easy. The harder part is going, I am going to show up and consistently get out of my fear, put my confidence hat on and say, show up and teach what is missing in the industry and relate it back to what people actually want. They still need to hear this information to be wowed, but what's that hook? And so Dana bought our hormone module. She also has our 6-month Retune Your Hormones. And I'll be showing you how coaches actually put it on their websites in the different ways. But for today, we're going to talk about how you can actually, feature yourself on all these different platforms, but also not exhaust yourself, because you're going to be clear. You're going to really say, where can I start promoting myself? What do my people want? Because you're going to test. You're going to start testing in lives and blogs, and let go of just this one platform that fixes everything, or this one strategy. So you'll see Dana has, it's really clear, regain your glowing skin and hair. She has learned what her ideal clients want, because you only learn by showing up and asking engaging questions, either on your Facebook page, even your personal, in DMs, in these conversations, on market research, and taking that market research and actually getting people on those phone calls. And we only get people on those phone calls by testing these different subjects to see what is their hot hook, what actually gets them to connect and say, wow, I'm gonna actually click, because they've connected with you. You just solved the problem to their biggest thing that they've been intentionally searching for. You relate it always back to your niche, so you don't confuse your ideal client. You're always talking about these other pillars that separate yourself, like Dana with the hormones and the weight loss, the beauty, and anti-aging. She is a hormone coach, but those are those hot topics that bring people in, because hormone, gut, sugar, ketogenic, paleo, raw, detoxification, medical medium, fruitarian, Dr. Morse, primal eating. There's a lot. We have to really separate ourselves and use our social media not as overthinking, oh my God, what am I going to post there? But really testing it in these different places so that we do nail it and lessen that frustration and go from frazzled to on fire. So you'll see right here, she has a link right here, her call to action. You see her profile is really clear. The hormone coach, I help you. And she just goes, this is what you can expect. Really simple. You can also use Linktree, really neat free tool. And that, guys, can also be under like your video description, so that you are leading people maybe to like call to action 1, like, hey, if you've got, hormone issues and it's affecting your skin, click here. If you're having, sleep issues, hormones and sleep, click here. If you're having problems repairing your period, click here. And so all of a sudden you're bringing them to these really core freebies, and you're getting people in so that you can get them onto a Rockstar one-on-one call. And that means that you're really connecting with that person. You're listening, which is required for you to be able to create great content. You're listening to how they say their problems in their client language, not our coach language, not the marketing language, so that you can take that same language, infuse it back into any of your content, in a live, in a video, in a webinar, in a challenge, in a one-on-one call, so that you actually have that market research that is in real time. So you'll see that this is actually Nicole Ritter. Love her. Her Instagram is on fire. I love Instagram, not because I would say I put all my eggs in one basket. It's visual, it's quiet, but still to this day, I always look at my own behaviors. Where do I go to grab information? I go right to YouTube and I go right to Pinterest, because they are visual and they are easy to search. So you have to ask yourself, it's not just, should I, spend $7 to $15 on this Facebook ad to convert for a course or a webinar? Or should I do this Instagram ad? Or should I do Pinterest ads? It's, where are people intentionally searching for me? And then to go back into the days where you were really stressed and intentionally searching, what were you searching for? What were the problems that you were trying to solve in your journey? Emotional, physical, spiritual. If it wasn't your own journey and it was a family member that really struggled that inspired you to get into this business, or maybe you were a nurse or a caretaker or a doctor. We have so many different people that we serve who all have this profound story, of why we're doing this. You really have to let people know more about that why, but you only know that if we think back to what were the biggest struggles? What was I searching for? And how do I really have somebody identify with me in a world that's extremely saturated? I feel that Nicole does this so beautifully. Not only do you see just her personality, but I even pulled, you will see the Restore Your Gut here. You will see that she talks a lot about IBS, leaky gut, all these different gut aspects. So she warms up her audience. And she warmed me up so much that I said, listen, you have to be on my podcast. Like, you do this so well. And if you're like me, and maybe that's not your skill set to do the most beautiful infographics, take one of our PowerPoints, freebies, program anything. Get somebody to create infographics for you. Don't spend hours. Go onto Fiverr, go onto Upwork, take a chance with somebody. It's so worth it. Facebook, create a Facebook post using the link you created for your sign-up page or your form, or take that blog that we talked about and make a video. That video, upload the video right onto Facebook. Make it different. Be willing to be different than other people. Make a thumbnail in Canva. There's so many ones. Don't sit in perfection. We are about to release actually an opt-in freebie where I said, why don't I just give some Facebook ads in it? It could even be a thumbnail on a video. The whole goal is you need to, in a saturated, where's my phone? In a saturated world of imagery and all this different stuff, we need somebody to be able to see that plain and clear. So depersonalize from your business. I tend to get really personal in my business because I went through all those struggles health-wise. I went through all those struggles business-wise. And so I tend to get upset and sad and frustrated and, sometimes overthink it because it's so close to home. Take a deep breath, get into the mindset of, okay, I know this is close to home. It's important for me to step into the empathy in the shoes of my ideal client, but now I need to really think what is going to help my ideal client understand what I do. The truth is we have to make our posts so to the point and so specific, especially in this day and age where the digital market has changed and people don't have time. We're so busy. We're so pulled in 80 different directions. So take that time. That will take that blog, no more than 30 minutes. That video, no more than 15 minutes. Let go of perfection. Take that same video and put that on, the Facebook post. That same video is also, like we said, could be on YouTube, and put under it a little bit more personal story that you pulled from the blog, that maybe you even repurposed into your newsletter. And this is exactly what I did in Rachel's Wellness with that 1 to 2 hours every morning. You can even share on your personal page. I don't like links on a personal page in Facebook. I think it creates a culture that just doesn't feel as inviting to somebody to want to send you a personal message. And so I like my personal page to be really about my story, things that I've overcome. And people will message you when you are really speaking to their pain point in a way where you're just saving them the pain. And that is really what our entire offers are about. Our freebies, our list building, our workshops that we are pitching to other people in different formats, because each one of us process different. Think of those of you who love podcasts. Well, I'm a video person. I will only buy from somebody where I identify with them and I've gotten to see them. That's just for me as a buyer. And so the formats that I really love are PDF, checklist. It could be, a webinar. It could be YouTube videos. It could be a little planner. It could be even a workshop and like a PDF with homework. It could be a little bundle. There's so many different ways. So you want to make sure that on your Facebook business page, you have a link to there. Of course, you can also have your list builder at the top of your Facebook business page. Click here to access this, or click here to join this group, whatever your call to action is. Those same freebies, of course, can be shared from a blog to Pinterest. You can, of course, do different images. This is what we call like split testing in the marketing verbiage. Look it up, Google it. YouTube is your BFF. You don't know what your client's going to like. We spend so much time making this assumption, which is marketing, but the truth is you're only going to have a lower paid ad if you know, does your client need a picture of you? Do they actually need a picture of somebody else? Picture of somebody else happy? Do they need a food picture? And this is why it's really great to have like these different images. And that is so easy. I mean, I use Planoly. I love it. I think it's great. I can post on Instagram. I can post on Pinterest, and I can keep life really simple. And I have to, because I get overwhelmed. If I'm doing this live, guess what? I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to download it, or I'm going to save that to my phone. That's going to go to YouTube. And all of a sudden, with one, like we talked about, those 3 strategic videos, you have an entire week plus more worth of content that you've blasted out on all different social media channels. And so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're starting to look at your own metrics, or you can hire somebody to see where most of your traffic is coming. And the truth is this. Sometimes we don't even know where people are coming from. And that's why, when we look at creating content and we look at list building, we have to think, how can I make it really easy on myself? Oh my God, we went over. So that I don't feel fried and frazzled. So that I don't get to the point where I'm so massively overwhelmed that it just becomes exhausting. So please, if you have any questions, we're going to break this down. Really simple. I wanted to give an overview today. I feel that often I talk about this, but I don't actually show like what coaches are doing. So it's really hard to visualize how this is possible. If you guys have any questions, please hit us back. And we're here for you. If you need to get on a one-on-one call with me, please go to that page, schedule a call. We will get on a one-on-one call. I actually open up a Google sheet and I say, let's build your offers in what you know that you need to speak about, your list building, so that you can build a referral network. Stop just depending on the algorithm, which can be a little tough, at different times, and start building our business in more of an old school approach way, which is the fundamentals of business. Plus, learn how to repurpose content that we're using, do it more strategically to really feed into the pain, the problem, and that hook that your ideal client is only going to actually get to conversion. That's different than just counting likes. So with that being said, guys, I've got to go hop on a call. I'm building somebody's funnel, 30 minutes. You guys are actually going to get that video as well. And I hope you have a kick-ass day. Bye, guys.